Would you look at what we got going on in Hard Rock, folks?
Where's the U? Man, the U is tradition. The U is family. The U is brotherhood. The U is hard work.
I'm hurt, dog. Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it. I put my heart in this, dog. Let's go, man.
Xavier Restrepo with the Miami touchdown.
And it is touchdown. Andre Johnson was all by himself. Throws intercepted, and that's going to be returned by Sean Taylor for a Miami touchdown.
We talking about practice. Not a game, not a game, not a game. We talking about practice.
We want to execute better. We want to play winning football. To play winning football, you've got to practice winning football.
Big time players step up in big games.
Yo, this Category 6 Sport Podcast, your host, Big Homie, and I'm here with none other than your QB, Malik Rosier. How you feeling, Malik?
Feeling great. Glad to be here. I'm in Tampa. I'm actually going to Miami for Friday. So for all the people that are in Tampa, obviously be safe. There's a hurricane out there. But outside of that, man, I'm doing great. Excited about Miami football.
Let's get straight into it. Virginia Tech this week. We done won the last 3 in a row. What you looking forward to see from the team this week? I know we've been looking good so far, but what you want to see from a quarterback's perspective on that offensive end?
Yeah, just taking what they give you, win your matchups. For the most part, most defenses have played us in cover one man. They're not going to allow Miami, especially with the backs that we have, to be explosive in the run game. And because of that, there's been a ton of one-on-one matchups. Obviously, our guys have done a great job of winning. I think guys like Xavier Restrepo, Isaiah Horton, you got to win. To me, in man coverage, that is kind of the ultimate, trust throws, right? You talk about throwing comebacks. You got to throw that ball before that guy is out of his break. It's different when it's in zone because you can kind of see the spot where the ball is supposed to go. In man coverage, you kind of are, I don't want to say hoping, but you're expecting your guy to win. So, for the receivers, keep winning. For Cam, keep trusting those guys. Like the guys are doing a great job of winning their one-on-one matchups, which is why we've been so successful.
True that. So 4-0 right now, 8 more games to go, the 12-0. You think we can make it there?
I think we can. I think the schedule is definitely favorable. Obviously, to me, the biggest one that always popped was Florida State. And again, if you watch VT, you look at VT week 1, right? They didn't look so great. I remember a lot of the Miami fans, we went to VT was kind of that, I don't say sleeper game, but the game that, hey, some teams on the schedule, they are one of the better ones. To me, if you take them from week 1, I think you say, okay, this is a cakewalk. But I think if you watch them week in week, they've gotten better. Kyron Drones did a better job of settling down and really playing like he did at the end of the last year. So, again, I think that this team for Virginia Tech gives us some issues. But, again, I think this is the first Miami team where they're a complete team where you're talking about O-line, quarterback, running back, receiver, D-line, linebackers. To me, a lot of the secondary guys are finally showing, hey, we can make plays. Freshmen like OJ, at corner are out there starting making a lot of plays. So, again, I think this is a team that, again, there are some quote-unquote weak spots where, again, guys can exploit. But I think this team in general, they have a lot of strengths and they have a lot of guys in places that make plays. Yes, sir.
I agree with you 100% on that. We got Jacoby. Hit that like button. Yes, make sure if you're on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on X, make sure you repost and like it. I'm here with Malik Rosier, former quarterback for UM. Now, I know you played quarterback. Can we get just a brief right now on Cam? How you feeling about Cam?
I love Cam. I love a lot that he's doing. I love his calmness and composure. To me, that's someone that, again, you can tell he's been there, right? A lot of guys, especially like you talk about, you want the leader, of your offense to kind of have, battle wounds or been through war. You can definitely tell that Cam has been in a lot of these situations. It doesn't, startle him. It doesn't, make him seem like, oh, this is too big of a moment. So I think, you're talking about a lot of our talent, right? Being young guys like, Jordan Lyle, guys like, JoJo, guys that to me are later on in the season are going to have to make plays for us. Those guys are going to look into a guy like Cam. And again, I think that he's done a great job with his leadership skills. And again, his playmaking, that's why he's number 1, right now for the Heisman. His playmaking talks about it for himself. But to me, again, when you talk about teams going from being good to great, to me, it's a lot of, the intangibles. How do you operate? How do you take your day-to-day? How do you interact with the guys around you? I think that's what he's done a good job of is kind of, buying in and having everyone else consistently buy in day to day.
Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think you'll thrive in a Dawson offense with that O-line and those receivers, running backs, tight ends?
Yeah,
backups?
that would have been crazy. And I try not to think about it too much because it'll keep me up at night. But I will say that I think in some areas, our team, I really loved, again, I don't think there's anyone that I would take over Braxton Bears. That's just me. Again, there's a lot of comparisons, Xavier, Shepard, and Braxton Bears, who do you take? I'm not taking anyone over Ahmad Richards. You know what I mean? That was my dog. 82 was Ahmad. So, again, there's certain spots where I'm like, well, I mean, I look at – but I would say, again, I think overall on the offense, especially talking about O-line, I think that they definitely have that advantage. You talk about a quarterback, right? Establishing the run game. When you have a good run game, it opens up play action pass. It tends to make teams go to single high. That's whenever you like to throw the ball. You hear in the NFL, right? We need a band cover 2 because quarterbacks can't throw in cover 2. And it's like, no, you can throw into it. But again, you got to run the ball to get teams out of cover 2. And I think that's one thing, this offensive line gives Miami is a very dominant run game where teams say, hey, we can't stay in the 2 shell because they're going to get 5, 6, 7 yards every run if we do.
Okay. Yep. True that. Got to come from Christian. Love seeing former Canes on the pod. Hit the like button. That's right. Got Malik Rosier right here, man. Somebody that actually lived it, did it, and we don't got to question him. He was out there with the U logo on his helmet. He ain't one of these people just be on the spaces, just pop out nowhere and think that they could do it. The man actually did it, and I appreciate him for being here. Now, let me ask you this. Offense and defense, what's your favorite position groups on the offense and defense so far? Just playing 4 games.
I would say offensively, I got to go with the offensive line. I think at the end of the day, the big boys up front, they definitely set the tone. To me, I would say on the defensive side, to me, was more of a surprise. I'm going to go with the secondary. I think they played a lot better than, coming out of camp. I think that was like, okay, like we know we can stop the run. But again, if we play an elite offense, can we stop the pass? Can we hold guys so where guys aren't just throwing for 300 or 400 yards? And so, to me, they've definitely been the biggest surprise in group. I'm like, man, you guys have made the biggest strides. And so, to me, I would go with those 3. O-line, solidifying run game and pass pro, and the secondary for locking things down.
True. I agree with you on that. But this receiving core, could you elaborate a little bit on the receiving core? Because they looking phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking great. One thing that we saw it week 1, the touchdown that Cam McCormick caught, right? To me, I think anyone, even probably a lot of people's grandparents, could have caught that ball that he threw. That ball was not hard. That ball was in stride. There was week 1, they had a conversation between Stephon Diggs and C.J. Stroud. And he talks about, man, you throw such a catchable ball. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing that Cam does, right, is he throws these guys catchable balls where, again, like I tell my quarterbacks, if you're going to miss on a comeback, where should you miss? I should miss outside. So for them, right, as a receiver's mindset, I know, hey, I got to come out my break because I know this ball is going to be placed outside. So when you talk about ball placement and catchable balls, it makes it easier for receivers to trust where the ball should be. You talk about a lot of trust stories. Again, we're talking about cover 1 man. Some of these guys might have only, a couple inches, and they got to trust that the ball is going to be in the right spot on time. And so, again, I think a lot of that starts with Cam on ball placement. But I think, again, at the end of the day, these guys are doing a great job of winning. I think you're seeing a lot of KB's footwork come into play. I think you're seeing a lot of these guys, again, some of these guys have been in, our system for a couple of years. Some of Xavier Strepo's played for a long time. Jacoby George has developed the offense for 2 years now. So a lot of these guys now are going from, hey, I'm now learning the offense to now I'm perfecting the offense. Now, instead of me saying, let's say we call Slay, right, that's a slant. Well, year 1, they might be trying to say, okay, Slay, slant. But by year 2, right, now it should be, okay, now I'm really working on, when I hear Slay, let me stem him. So now I'm really working on my technique and not making sure I don't mess the route or mess the play up. So I think that's what you're seeing with a lot of these guys is that, again, you've had guys that have been in the system for multiple years now that now can focus on their craft and not learning the offense.
True that. That's fair. Now, understanding that ever since we got to the ACC, we never won the ACC championship, never won the conference. Now, this year, it's looking pretty good that we can win the. How important is it for Miami to win the conference in your eyes this season?
I think that's everything. I think at the end of the day, when you talk about what's the number one goal for this team, even outside of national championship, even outside of playoffs, I think all those are great. When you talk about what's the bread and butter of what Miami wants to accomplish, it's winning the ACC championship. You win that, you're in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, that's their main goal. And again, when it's kind of like kind of like having weekly and monthly goals, right? If you complete your weekly goals, your monthly goals take care of themselves. So for them, their goal should be, hey, win the ACC championship. Everything else will take care of itself. So I think that's huge. I think that's something that, again, you talk about Cam, right, wanting to not only play on a national stage, be the first overall quarterback. To me, with the way the ACC looks, right, Florida State is having a down year. Clemson, they're looking better, but week 1 versus Georgia, it was like, who are they?
Yeah,
so again, that's kind of where for Cam to go where he wants to go, teams like that, he has to make those statements. He has to come out clean. He can't, again, I don't expect him. He can't go like I did, right? 10 for 15 or whatever, 10 for 30 with 100-something yards, no touchdowns. To me, those are games where he has to go 32 for 40, 300-something yards, two touchdowns in a rushing, because that's what NFL teams want to see, right? If you can dominate a college team that is good, then that means you can compete at an NFL level. Because again, in the NFL, right, it's the best of the best playing. And so again, I think those are the games where guys like Cam really have to step up and show what they can do. And again, when you talk about why you go to Miami, why you play for the U, you want to play for those big games. And you know what I mean? And that's what I think Cam's embraced. I think that's one thing that he's definitely marked his calendar for.
True that. I definitely agree with you on that. Got a comment. Cali Kane 818. Malik, if you were able to play, would you want to play for Mario, Coach Cristobal, I guess? Well, that's
Hell yes, man. That's not even a question. It's funny. I hear like his pregame speeches, right? And after him, I'm ready to go run through a wall. And I can't imagine the ones they do in the locker room before the game. So again, I think that Mario's done a good job, not only, talking the talk, but also walking it, not only as like a coach, but as a player. You go back and watch clips of him and how he played. And then you think about the ungodly hours that he spent in recruiting and pushing into you. And then you think about the character person that he is. To me, you can't help but to buy in and want to play for a coach like that. Again, there was a lot of things that Rick kind of had the same thing, right? Great recruiter, man of God, did a lot of stuff right, great person. So people bought in and said, yes, I love playing for Mark Richt because of who he is. And I know the stuff he's doing off the field. And then again, you talk about Mario, right? Being a guy that is an O-line guy. For me, for quarterbacks, that's always the number one question, right? Can you protect me? Because again, especially at the way the NIL is going, quarterback is going to be the most valuable position. That's going to be your big breadwinners of guys, especially talking about at the Miamis, the Alabama, the Georgia, right? Those are going to be your $1 million winners. So Shedeur Sanders, 1.9. Cam Ward now's at $1 million. Quinn Ewers is at $1 million. Jackson Dart's at, and again, these are your 7-figure guys. So you got to have people up front that can protect them.
Yep, true that. Facts. Got a comment. BR Malik, will you compare the 4-0 start to your 4-0 start back in 2017? That's a good question.
Yeah, I would say defensively, and again, I don't know the stats, but I would say defensively very similar, right? Teams didn't even run the ball on us like crazy. We had a very good defensive line with Chad Thomas, Kendrick Norton, RJ. You always had the linebacker crew, right? Pink, Shaq, you have the secondary guys. I would say offensively, obviously we won the game, so I'll give us that side, but I think that this team is definitely more explosive. You talk about using formations, using route combinations, using different checks. You can definitely tell Cam has more of a freedom to check in and out of plays throughout the offense. So for that side, I would definitely give their offense an edge in a lot of ways. But I would say you're talking about defensive side, I think that the 2017 team and this year's team are very similar. We're talking about the strengths of the defense being, the defensive line. And to me, that was very similar to our 2017 team.
I agree with you. Now, Malik, now I looked at your stats earlier, and I see 34 career touchdowns. Cam Ward may get that this year, man. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah. I'm trying to find every excuse to put an asterisk beside it because, again, I know that we had one less regular season game. We had a hurricane that hit, so Arkansas State game got canceled, and we were going to light them up. They were a quarters team. And then if they go to the playoffs, they'll have more games. So I'm trying to find ways, but I 100% think he'll break it. I hope he breaks it. I think he deserves it. I think he's a guy that you talk about it for me, especially being a quarterback coach, right? And again, everyone wants to be the guy that's the 5-star that has every offer, that has been recruited since they were 14 years old. Everyone kind of knows. That was not Cam Ward's story. Cam Ward had to work his way. Cam Ward had to really get out the mud. And when you understand how hard it is in college, and again, on top of that, how hard it is to convince guys that you aren't at that level and say, hey, I can keep climbing, I can compete with the best. To me, Cam Ward has proved it. And I think that, him breaking that record is going to be another one of his stamps saying, hey, I am that guy. I am, the guy that I told myself I was when I was growing up. And so, again, I hope he breaks it. I think that if he breaks it, we have the offense that we thought. To me, I think that thing that gives me the edge was that I ran the ball a little more than him. But again, I think that with the way they utilize Xavier Restrepo and different guys in the red zone, he should break that.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Definitely, he had a hot start right now. He already at 14 and 4 games, and then we're going into
No, he
ACC play.
got me sweating a little bit.
I
Sometimes
bet.
because I remember it was funny in the
I
preseason. I was
bet.
like, you know what? I'll be fine. We got Martinez and Fletcher. They're gonna want to run the ball in the red zone, get the big boys right. They putting up 50 every day. I'm like, Jesus, and they might not stop. That's the craziest part. It's like, you think game 1 through 4, right? Like you put up 45-ish, 50 because you're playing. I would say weaker teams. Again, USF is a great team, and so was Florida. But again, you think more ACC play, right? You're going to be in like the 28s, the 35s. Things really slow down. But with the way this offense looks, and again, the way that Cam Ward has been playing, they should put up between 45 to 50 every game. He should have 2 or 3 touchdowns every game. And so again, I don't say this lightly. I think he could be a guy that potentially not only could break a Miami record, but potentially could break a national record. And again, I think the one thing that if you add total touchdowns with like running, I think there are guys like Jaden Daniels, right, that might have him on the edge. But I think you look at pure passing touchdowns, I think he'll definitely wind up being in the top 10 if he keeps having this type of game cycles that he's been having.
Definitely right now. If the draft was today, definitely first round. First overall.
Yeah, he is. And again, I don't want to say that he's not a first rounder because again, there's been guys that, and again, I love him to death, but Brad Kaya, if we think about when Rick first came, right? Remember when Rick first came, who was the number 2 quarterback off the board behind Deshaun Watson going to the 49ers?
Yeah.
Brad Kaya. Brad Kaya was the number 2 overall pick going back to California. So again, I don't think Brad had a fall. I think there was a lot of stuff that happened with Brad. But the biggest thing I always say is those high competition games, right? When Miami plays Clemson, when Miami plays Florida State, how do you play? How do you compete? How do you lead? Because every NFL GM is going to be watching those games. And so, again, those are the games for me right now. I think if you talk about talent-wise and how he's been playing, yes. But I also think that as an NFL GM, right, I want to see how you play versus Clemson. I want to see how you play if we play Georgia. I want to see how you play versus Alabama. Because those are the same defensive guys that I'm trying to recruit. Those are the same guys that I know they're going to be on my draft board. So I want to see, can you complete really tight coverage versus a guy that run a 4-4 across the field? And so, again, I think those are the games that, again, right now, I definitely think he's the best playing quarterback. But I do also think that with the strength of our schedule, is one thing that I think that could be the quote-unquote only knock that he has with his strength of schedule. That's the only knock that he'll ever get with being at Miami. But, again, he's doing his part. He's putting up numbers. He's making crazy plays. He's averaging 50-some points a game. To me, there's nothing else you can really ask Cam Ward but to do that.
I agree with you. We got a comment. Jacoby, smash that like button. Use up in the chat. Fire. Hey, use up in the chat. We got Malik Rosier right here. Malik, I want to ask you a question. Think you're a top 5 QB all-time Miami University? Top 5? Pound for pound?
Ooh, I would say quarterback play. I would say top 10. I would say competitor-wise, I would say I'm top 5. If people knew what I was dealing with my junior year, I would say I was top 5. At least like competitor and how I like approach the game and how I like did shit. I'll put myself there. Again, you can talk about how I played, passing touchdowns, completion percentage, all that other stuff. But I would say at least like my mindset, how I competed, definitely top 5.
I feel you on that. So, Miami looking good. You don't never see yourself getting back around the program, like they're on the staff somewhere around. You better jump on the train. Why? You better jump on the train.
Yeah, I've talked to Miami a little bit, and we'll see. Like last year, I talked to Rudy Fernandez some and kind of piqued my interest. Next year, when I'm hoping I'm gonna let the season go by, I'm just gonna sit down and talk to Mario because I'll be training Emory Williams, Judd Anderson, and Luke Nichols. So all those guys came from QB country. They're developers doing a great job. So Emory came from QB country Mobile with our head guy David Morris. QB country Atlanta has Judd, and they have Luke Nichols. So when he comes down, they'll be training with me. So again, that's one of my biggest things to him. And I really got to figure out like, hey, am I going to stick with the QB country side and train them privately, or do I want to go on staff where I can do these guys every day and say, hey, like I don't really want to teach X's and O's, but I want to help these guys with the fundamentals, because obviously what QB country is teaching, right? You guys love. So let's make sure that they don't lose that. And that's really what I would try to offer Miami if they wanted something like that. But again, it's something that obviously they have to pick, but I'm at least definitely going to talk to them in the offseason to let them know I at least have that interest.
How high are you on Luke Nickel? Do you think he has an opportunity to come in and start next year?
He could. I think that it's going to be interesting. The biggest thing with guys like him, right, it's not necessarily learning the playbook, because I always tell guys, like, for the most part, right, like when Miami plays Virginia Tech, they're probably only going to carry about 50, maybe 60% of their entire playbook. But again, when you're installing everything. I got to make sure if I need this week 8 that you know what you're doing. So the first step for him is, I know he's coming in early, which I think helps him a lot, learning the offense. And then again, to me, and everyone knows this, the defensive play calling, especially on third down with the exotic, like 3 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 DBs. Now they have to understand the complexity of coverages, what they can go to, what looks they can't go to. That's stuff that, between myself and his other trainers, like, well, I'll help Luke with things like that. But to me, I think he's a smart guy. I know he's a hell of a competitor. The guy loves to compete at a high level. And he has all the tangible tools. He can make every throw. He can run. He's not, to me, as loose-armed as a Cam Ward, but he's definitely a mobile guy that can make throws on the run. So I think in a lot of those aspects, he'll definitely compete. But I will be interested to see how he learns mentally, his, football IQ, and things like that. To me, will be the only thing that could potentially hinder him.
I couldn't have said it better myself. With that being said, let's go into a quick commercial break.
What's good, Chasers? And y'all know something? I've been seeing these other haters, and other fan bases, they hating that we winning and all that. And they just stand on our nuts. But we got the perfect solution for them. Yeah, that's right. We're going to tell them to get some boiled peanuts at taste1boiledpeanuts.com. Yeah, from our very own Les Leggett. Yeah, that's right. Taste1boiledpeanuts.com. They deliver at your front door. So, yeah, they can stay off our nuts and go get some boiled peanuts. You feel what I'm saying? For real.
Hey, welcome back to Category 6 Sport Podcast. This your host, Big Homie, and I'm here with none other than the quarterback. This man really don't need no introduction. Malik Rosier. Producer, can you throw that Heisman odds with Cam Ward at the top of it, please? Will you please throw the Heisman odds, please? Producer. There we go. We got, no surprise, Cam Ward at the top. Jackson Dart, Milroe, Nico, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers, Beck, Travis Hunter, Will Howard, Moss. Yeah, man, I think this is going to be a landslide. We good, producer. You can drop it. I think it's going to be a landslide for this man to win the Heisman. The man just like he was saying earlier, smooth, composed, can make every throw, great leader. With the schedule, how it's setting up, and just how the team coming out there. And then, not to mention, this is what a lot of people not mentioning. On our defense, we get so many 3 and outs. And if they do get a first, they may get 1 first down to possession. That was what USC put up, a 6-5 minute drive? Mm-hmm. Oh, I can't remember. But they put up a long drive, but all they got is 3. Other than that, 3 and outs all game. Like, they had a few good drives, but it ended in 3. Outside of that fake pass back to the quarterback, they ain't getting none. The defense is elite. So, like I've been saying since before the season, fall camp, he gonna get a lot of opportunities. And with his opportunities, he making the best of them.
Yeah, no, to me, I think Cam, pound for pound, to me, I think the only other person that you can maybe dispute this with is Travis Hunter, but I think pound for pound right now, Cam Ward is the best playing football player out there. Again, I think that, to me, there's only 2 guys that potentially could compete with him. I think number 1 is Nico. Again, because their strength of schedule, right? They got to go through Georgia. They want them having to play the Alabama or Texas in the SEC championship game. When you're talking about when people vote, I think that's one thing they can look into. The only other one, and again, I know he's been really big, but I don't know if Boise State won is a running back from Boise State. Apparently he's been
nice.
Like crazy. Imagine if they make a magical run, they can give it to him just because Boise State might not ever have a Heisman Trophy winner again. So to me, those are only of the 2, again, unless Tennessee has a magical run in the SEC or Boise State has a magical run because their running backs, running for 150 or 200 yards a game. To me, outside of that, I think Cam Ward has it unlocked. Again, I think the biggest thing with him is just keeping guys consistent, right? If you keep your guys consistent, and secondly, keep your guys healthy, To me, there's nothing that should stop Cam Ward from being the Heisman Trophy winner.
Hey, could you tell the people about your business?
Yeah, so I own a couple different businesses. So one is Quarterback Country Florida. So I actually run Quarterback Country Tampa, but I'm in Tampa, Naples, and Miami. I do quarterback training. Sessions are an hour. If you guys go on qbcountry.com, there's the list of our quarterbacks, the list of our locations. You guys can find me. There's a way to contact me as well. The second one for all the Miami fans specifically. So me and a business partner here in Tampa, we own a company called Miami Millionaires Club. And one of the perks of Miami Millionaires Club is that we own a box. And with that box, we have sweet tickets. So I have about 4 left for this game. There's about 16 seats in total, so the box will be pretty full. I know guys like Amon Richards, myself, Mike Pink. I think Sonny Adogo is going to come by again. I'm even going to try Casey McDermott. So we're going to have about 5 or 6 alumni coming in. Comes with food and drinks. If you guys let me know by tomorrow, by 12, if you guys want the tickets. There are 2 different price options. There's one with food and drinks, which means actual alcohol that do bottle sales. And the second one is just for the ticket seats themselves.
What we doing? This man back in the back tripping, man. Anyway, hey man, appreciate you for that. Definitely tap in with Malik for the quarterback, everything, man. He bringing some people back down there that didn't did it before, man. Malik, another real question too is this. Okay, you right here. We've been here before. We've been here in the same spot as last year. Everything looking great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at the spread. It scared me because Georgia Tech game last year, it was around the same spread. And then, we go out there. Do you think we'll have any slip-ups this year? Because I don't. Not how this team coming. I think this team give a different approach.
I don't. And I think, a lot of it starts from the head down. I think the second thing is depth. To me, a lot of times when guys make when guys make mental mistakes, it's usually because they're tired. I think when you talk about the depth of the D-line, the depth of our receiver core, we have 4 backs, right? You have Lyle, you have Fletcher, you have Martinez, Chris Johnson done his thing, A.J. Allen, you really have 5 Allens, had some really big runs, right? So you're talking about guys staying fresh. Now guys can actually see holes. They're not, I don't want to say delirious, but you talk about sometimes we have a new kickoff, it's hot as heck, and this guy's taking 20 carries, and he's been there for most of the game. It's hard to focus sometimes. So I think mental errors you're going to see go down. And to me, that's what really gets teams beat. And again, I think you're right. This team is bought in. They have a different mentality. And I think, again, when you're talking about from freshmen all the way up to grad transfers, all buying into the same idea. And you have a head coach that, to me, puts on that persona, puts on that, image of saying, hey, we are this team. We're going to work our butts off. To me, I think it makes a team like this. And that's why you're seeing them winning by so much.
True that. Producer, could you put the playoff bracket up there for us real quick? There we go.
For a while. It's funny. So I've seen everyone talking about spot 5. Everyone's like, I want spot 5. Because apparently it's been a lot of what's that conference? Utah or Kansas State, or before Kansas State lost. It's been a lot of that. So I see like Alabama, if they were to beat UNLV, right, they're playing Utah and they're playing for the Natty. A lot different than like with Georgia Clemson, and Georgia Miami. So it's funny, everyone's been kind of praying for that 4th spot.
Yeah, I can see why. They're gonna play 12, and then they're gonna play 4, a team that may not be better than them. Yeah, it made perfect sense. But any surprises up there for you? Maybe whether Utah, Penn State, Oregon, any surprises, or you would just go with that for now? You would agree with everything on that?
The only one I'd probably knock off is maybe UNLV, but UNLV looks really good. I know that Memphis just lost, and then you had NIU lost last week as well. So you had those 2 teams that kind of had those big wins that wound up losing. So yeah, maybe they take someone different than UNLV, but I would say the rest of them are about fine. I think Utah could be interesting to see what kind of happens for them. But I'd say for the most part, Penn State, Drew Allaire's been playing better. Nico looks good. Dart. Again, I think the biggest thing that you're going to see with commonalities, right? Which 2 conferences are represented the most in this, though?
SEC
and the Big Ten.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's where over time, right, for us in the ACC, this can't be consistent. Otherwise, they got to explain to us why we can have a 1-loss ACC team. Again, like let's say Clemson has 2, right? 2-loss ACC team doesn't make it, but let's say Ole Miss has 2 or 3, Tennessee has 2 or 3, Texas could round up having 1 or 2 losses. How come they get to get slotted higher than us or have more spots than ACC? And same thing with the Big Ten. So to me, I think that's going to be interesting next couple of years, how that happens. Because, again, I think that's going to be unique, right, where, like, okay, we're the third team in the SEC and we know we made it. But if you're the third team in the ACC, right, you're kind of like, oh, are we going to make it? And, again, you same thing with the Big Ten, right? They have Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State, right? There's 3 from the Big Ten. And, again, that's going to be
drop the bracket. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be very unique kind of how that carries over for the next couple of years with, like, which conferences kind of get their third team in. And again, I think that's kind of where over time, strength of schedule and, playing non-conference team like Miami going and playing Notre Dame and Florida and Alabama and Georgia and going up and playing Michigan. Those games are going to be big because if you can stack those up with the ACC games, now you have a better chance, of obviously going in and getting other teams in.
Quick question. How do you feel about the NIL? Because UNLV coach, UNLV quarterback, I just not thought about it. He walked away today because I guess an NIL he was supposed to get $100,000. He ended up getting like 8,000, some crazy number. So how you feel about that, man?
Yeah, so I would say one, I think that both parties are in the wrong. I think as for UNLV, I don't think that you're going to have a college kid randomly say that a coach promised me $100,000. Because I will say this, for the most part, right, when you go on 3, which they have the NIL evaluations, most decent quarterbacks had about a 6-figure NIL evaluation, especially if they had some playing time. They had decent numbers. I don't necessarily know his story, but I bet you he had a pretty decent, probably about $50K for NIL. So again, someone verbally agreeing to that, one, that's wrong for a coaching staff. I've been saying it. It's wrong for a grown man to promise this kid, right, probably at 18, 19, 20 years old, hey, I'm going to give you $100,000, and the kid gets there and doesn't get it. I would think, secondly, this is also an educational side for the kids, right, saying, hey, before you guys go into an NIL deal, it doesn't matter what that coach tells you, right? Until pen is to paper, same thing with your scholarship. Until you have the signed document of, hey, I'm signed to University of Miami, all the stuff he was talking really doesn't matter. And so, again, I think this also be a learning point, for some of these guys when talking about protecting themselves because, again, I think some of this has happened. I mean, we saw it, earlier in the year with Rashad in Florida, right? They offered him millions. Florida didn't have it. There was a coach that said, oh, we're going to give you $1 million. And NIL collections come back and say, well, we don't have that money. And so, again, I think that's where, these teams also have to make sure that the NIL numbers that they are giving out saying, hey, we have $100,000 for you. They've got to make sure that the NIL collection actually has that. And so, again, I think it's unfortunate, but I hope that at some point something is resolved and that, a lot of people take this as more of an educational saying, hey, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. I hope the NCAA winds up figuring out a way so this doesn't happen again. Because, again, I think over time, especially talking about,
Yo, can y'all hear me? Hold on 1 second. We back. You good?
Okay, good.
Okay, we had a moment right there. Go ahead. What you were saying?
I thought you were talking like, man, you in Tampa with me? You got the hurricane hitting you already?
Oh, no. It's raining out here, though. It's going to be raining. They didn't cancel school and all that tomorrow, so it's going to be a hellified rain. It's definitely going to be crazy rain, man. But, okay, we got a problem at Oklahoma. They got a freshman quarterback. Hawkins came in last week. We looked decent against Tennessee because Jackson Arnold, he ain't been getting it done. He redshirted last year. Looked good he didn't look good in the bowl game. He ain't been looking good this whole season. The Oklahoma offense ain't look like it's going nowhere. How you feel about, okay, I came in, I trust the process, I redshirted, then I lose my job. How you feel about that as a quarterback? What would you think in your mind?
Yeah, I think it's hard because, again, as a quarterback, right, it's not like a receiver or a running back or a tight end where guys rotate. Like, once you're the quarterback, you're the quarterback. So I definitely know how that feels. But I'll also say this, though, right? There's an old concept that my dad taught me that is very real. It's the old concept of what have you done for me lately, right? So it doesn't matter if you sat here and waited. Okay, you waited your turn, but what have you done with your turn? Did you maximize your opportunity? Or not, because they like I always tell these kids, right? your performance dictates whether these guys stay in this college. Or again, something happens, right? They have a terrible season. The odds of, I don't think they're going to fire preventables, but that's what starts happening, right? Guys play bad, people get fired. And so, again, the players got to understand, as much as you love this game, to the coaches, this is also a business. Yes, they love the game, but if the offense ain't functioning, someone got to get fired, because ain't no way the offense plays bad and no one gets fired. So, again, that's why I tell a lot of my kids, especially as they start getting older, they start to understand what's going on. This is a multi-million-dollar business, especially at OU. That is a multi-million-dollar company. Like, that's how they operate. They operate like a business. And when people aren't functioning right, usually what happens is managers get fired or employees get fired. That's what happened to them, right? Got fired, next employee up. It's that next man mentality. And so, again, I would just give him encouragement, saying, hey, man, stay a part of the team, because you never know what could happen. God forbid the guy gets hurt. Or let's say he has a bad game, right? You could be right back in there. It happened to me in 2017, right? I got benched. The coach said, come back games. I'm right back in. But again, I was slightly checked out. And so again, that's why I tell all my guys is stay checked in, because when you get that opportunity again, maximize it, right? Don't squander it. Don't be so in your head that you can't take advantage. But also say with a move like that,
I want to interrupt you right quick, because you said you had checked out. What do you mean exactly by you checked out? Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so mentally I was checked out. For the people that don't know the story, so Coastie was supposed to go in versus App State. The game was a little close. I'm pretty sure that game too, I wound up, I don't know if it wasn't breaking a record, but it was like the first time since 2000 and something that our quarterback had I think I had 3 rushing touchdowns versus App State. And then I remember we played FAM, and coach goes, hey, Malik, you're going to get the first 2 sessions, and then we're going to give Nicosia a series, and then we'll kind of just go back and forth and kind of let both of you guys go. And I'm fine with that, right? Because I was like, well, I know that, Rick's definitely trying to get Nicosia prepared for next year. I know that he definitely wants to get, Nicosia prepared with the ones, people that didn't know. I was hurt most of my junior year, and I had lingering injuries in my senior year. So it was like, hey, we don't know. You can get hit in the shoulder, which is my right shoulder. Right? I get hit in the shoulder, I'm out. So they wanted to get Nicosia reps with the first unit. And I was fine with that. But then as the game proceeded, Mark Rick ain't come talk to me. John Rick ain't come talk to me. At halftime, the boys basically acted like everything was cool. And I just remember going after the game, and I was like, we got to have a meeting. What just happened? That's not what you guys told me. So yeah, I went to the meeting. They were like, yeah, man, just have some thought. We're going to go this way. And, that's our decision. And for me, it was something that, I knew that they were going to slowly put him in, but I was just thinking, I didn't think that I played bad enough to get benched. And again, the season kind of ended up how it ended. But again, when you talk about the practices, different things like that, it was I didn't think that I was the best quarterback out there, but also didn't think that I was bad enough to where I should have got benched. So that's what to me meant that I was checked out. I was at practice. I was obviously doing stuff that I was supposed to do, but my junior, right, I would say I'm watching 25 hours, almost 30 hours of film a week. After I got benched, I was watching 10 to 15. You know what I mean? I'm watching it, but I'm not I was.
You ain't tapped in.
I would be in class, not looking at class. I'm studying Notre Dame. I'm glued to my iPad. But now I'm not starting, so I'm kicking my feet up. I'm in class. I'm getting my grades right. And that was my mindset. Y'all gonna fuck me. I'm gonna make sure that I do what I do, but I'm gonna focus on my grades now. And that's where my mind shifted. And then again, when I got thrown in, it was I was prepared, but I definitely wasn't prepared as I should have been. And to me, that was where it went a lot of back and forth. And then I remember there were some times where it was if I had a bad series, Rick would pull me. So I always felt I was looking over my shoulder, right? I mean, one time.
So you and Rick ain't see eye to eye? What was going on?
No, that was the problem.
Well, hold on. This is my first time ever hearing this. So could you elaborate a little bit so people I ain't never heard that. I ain't know that.
Yeah, so that was the issue, right? It was just there was no plan structure. It was just it was open chaos at core position. Because again, you go back, I remember the Duke game, and that was game when after that game, I was beyond checked out. I remember, and again, I love the guy to death. Playing Duke, it's 3rd and 12. Rick gave me 2. It was inside zone, maybe quick. I don't know what it was, but it was 2 bad plays. So we're 3rd and long, and we call switch vert or switch blade, whichever one it was. But it's where our outside guys, they kind of twist and they go up. Well, Lawrence Cager was down the sideline. It was a hole shot, and I wound up hitting him, and he dropped it on 3rd and 15. And then I remember after that, Rick went up to me. He goes, "We're going with Nkosi." I'm like, "You going with Nkosi because Lawrence dropped the ball on 3rd and 15?" And it was like, at that point, I was like, I can't even like operate them. It was like, I felt like an incompletion, I was going to get pulled. And like, I tell my kids, you can't function like that. And that really had me in like a funk. And so again, that's why I tell a lot of my guys, man, just control what you can't control. If you're in there for a play, cool. If you're not in there for a play, fine. But again, I will say like the miscommunication, because again, like my junior year, right? Like a lot of people in my family wanted me to go to the league. They didn't necessarily know where I was going to go, but they were like, because of the season you had, you probably have a chance to get drafted. And so, again, I wound up staying because Rick was like, no, we want you to stay. We feel like we have a better team. Because remember, after the ACC championship game, right, Rick was like, we just got to get better. Like, yeah, we were a good team, but right, Clemson, they just have more depth. They have older guys. And so year two, the next year is like, okay, now we have a team that can really compete. And so I was hyped, and I was okay, like, I want to come back for that. It was like, yes, we want you to come back. And then again, a lot of stuff that was told didn't come to fruition. And so again, that's where like I love Rick in a lot of ways. I don't have any ill will towards him, but there was a lot of stuff that I kind of look back was like a lot of that stuff was ran. I don't want to say shady, but definitely not open communication in a lot of ways.
Dang. With that being said, let's go on a commercial break. Yo, it's your boy Ben Holman. I just want to let y'all know Partners Print is a premier one-stop custom print shop that proudly serves the South Florida area for custom t-shirts, banners, posters, and business cards. Come to the best where they're located at. Write this down now, because they're the best. Write this down now. 5700 Northwest 17th Ave in Miami, Florida. Y'all make sure y'all get at them, man. Wonderful job, flawless job. Y'all make sure y'all get at them, man. Partners Printing. Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all get at them now. I just want to take the time out right quick to give a shout out to Postman. He do a lot on the and behind the scenes. He had a family member that died today, passed away today, and I just want to take this time out, just to thank him for everything he do for us, and just to tell him to keep his head up. Appreciate it. Now, Malik, we got a big game this week, man. Not only us, Virginia Tech and us, that's obvious. You got Miami and you got Georgia. Who you got?
Ooh. Right now, I'm going edge Miami. I think that right now, just the way that college football plays, if you have a good offense, you're going to win most of your games. I think Georgia has struggled. I think that we have a defensive line that can compete and stop them, from running the ball all over us. And again, I love Carson. I love a lot of the guys on the team because I was there for a year. But I will say that I think that at the quarterback position, Miami has an edge there. And I think that in college football, that's
No. My fault. Alabama and Georgia play.
Oh, I thought you said about us versus Georgia.
No. Well, yeah, we're gonna see them later on down the road. Relax.
I gotta go Georgia. The only reason why I'm gonna go Georgia is because I saw Alabama struggle versus USF. Yes, they had turnovers, but I don't think that Alabama can play anywhere near that and beat Georgia. Again, when you talk about Georgia and Kentucky, a lot of people got to remember too. There's a lot of similarities between the two teams. They know a lot of each other. Brock Vandagriff just transferred from Georgia to Kentucky.
They had a close game last year.
Yeah, and so again, there was a lot of stuff that was like, again, if you've been there and you kind of know how the SEC operates, there's a lot of intertwine between the two. And so again, right now, I'll give it to Georgia. I think the biggest X factor for Alabama has to be Milroe. And I think that the young bull, Ryan Williams, has to have some big plays, and he's been really explosive for them all year.
Agreed. Not only that, we got something about Brett Favre right quick. This current, could you put it up there, producer? The Brett Favre situation. Okay, we got Brett Favre. He, I guess he got prostate cancer, and then he got, he basically in court or whatever complaining, talking about this worthless welfare money. The man is really wilding out here right now, man. The man don't care. He act like, I understand he got prostate cancer, whatever he got. Feel sorry for him. Don't want nobody with that. But other than that, this man don't care about the crime he committed, man. This man just out here spending people money.
So I don't know if it's prostate or I think it's Parkinson's. I think it has the same thing that Coach Rick has. And again, I kind of agree with you. I think he's kind of using that to make people feel sad for him. Again, that's an unfortunate situation, but I also don't think you can steal millions and make people feel bad for you, and you already made millions when you were with Green Bay. So again, whether that's bad money managed by you while you're in the NFL or not, that shouldn't affect other people, especially from the state of Mississippi. So I hope they figure it out. But to me, with him having Parkinson's, that doesn't make me feel bad for him. I hope he gets better. But at the end of the day, like, that money needs to be returned, and some type of ordeal needs to happen.
Yeah. Because it's crazy out there. The comments. Blocker LSS. Yes, like, share, and subscribe. We got 241 people on here from X and YouTube. Across both platforms. If you're on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. If you're on X, repost and like it. Hey man, I'm in here with Malik Rosier, man. Big game this week. What's your score prediction is this week?
So my score prediction is 45. Is either 44, 45, or 17. I don't know if we get to 50. I think VT is going to try to run the ball, get him out. They'll definitely make plays with Kyron Drone, especially with his legs and throwing game. But I have Miami at least scoring 45, and I have VT somewhere around 17 to 20. What's your score prediction?
Score prediction. I got 56. 17. Yeah, I got them scoring in the 50s again. I don't think they'll stop. I seen Virginia Tech play Rutgers. Man, they ain't got no. They ain't gonna be able to stop our running game. I don't think they got enough. Their offense goes. It looked good for a second, then it goes stagnant. Can't win like that.
You can, but I always tell people this, man. The film you watch of other teams, whenever they play Miami, it looks different. They play a little bit harder. They do something a little different. And so to me, I think that this team has done a good job of playing with the chip on their shoulder. So it doesn't matter how you feel. Like, I don't care. Like, screw how you feel. Like, we're here to beat your ass. So I love the way that they're playing chip on their shoulder. But I do think you're going to see a better VT team this week than you did last week. I think that, again, Rutgers obviously has a good run game. I think they have a very dominant back, but I think that whenever you look at Miami's run game, it's built different. You got to really prepare for that run game that Miami's about to bring. So I think VT is going to try to toughen up. I think it'll be interesting. I think the biggest thing for me is going to have to become like USF, right? Cam has to make plays with his legs, and he has to make plays through the air. I think they're going to try to load the box and stop the run.
Where can you buy the Virginia Tech game tickets at?
So for me, if you guys want, just message me on Twitter at Malik Rosier 12. Once I get the confirmation, so I have Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle, I'll send it over. All I need is either email or a phone number that you guys want the tickets to go to, and I'm able to send it right to your cell phone.
Well, y'all know who to get the tickets from now. We don't got no excuses. No excuses. Pat the Rock. Been telling these people there's gonna be a great attendance here. I think it's already looking way better than last year definitely from the away game, from that Florida and South Florida game. But they turned up. Went to the Ball State game before it was 3 rain delays. It was looking pretty good in there, man. Even though we're playing Ball State, we honored the 1989 championship team, and then we're 62-0. So, man, we were looking good. That outside of the rain, everything went great.
Yeah, I even know that. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams, I know like in Tampa it's happened for sure, but I don't know how it is on the East Coast, but I'm pretty sure a lot of teams have like canceled their Friday games and put it on Saturday. So they talk about more high school coaches, more high school kids now can actually go out to the game on a Friday. I think it could be interesting. I really hope you guys come out, man. I know that, again, my most memorable game, at least playing at Miami, was definitely Notre Dame. And it wasn't even to deal with the fact of like us beating, that was great, but it was the environment. It was the way you guys had it rocking. It was the way that every time our defense made a play, I thought they got a pick because you guys were just yelling every time we had a tackle for loss or something. So, again, that is big. We talked about, going to Florida, right? One of the things about playing at Florida is how loud it gets, how people show up. To me, over time, especially, we see the buy-in of Mario. We see the buy-in of Miami. Now it's like the city needs to buy in. The city needs to go out and support these guys. Because, again, you guys want all the 4 and 5 stars to show up, but then you guys don't want to show up. So, again, to give it a thing, right? You feel me? Like, people go to Alabama, right? Because when you go to Alabama and you look up and it's filled all the way up to the top, like, you want to play for that. And again, Miami has a big enough stadium. We play at the Hard Rock. We play at the NFL Stadium. It's nice. It's not a boo-boo stadium. Like, if it was like a Pittsburgh, and I'm going to knock on Pitt, not Pitt's a good stadium, like a Georgia Tech, right? Georgia Tech is very old. If it's an older stadium, I get it, man. Where there's alcohol, There's food. There's great music. So again, man, come out, support these guys. And again, there's nothing better than watching Kane win.
I got a comment, Blocker. Malik, thanks for hosting us in Tampa. Great environment and atmosphere.
Man, thank you for coming. Yeah, we had an event here in Tampa. We want to do some more stuff in Tampa. We would probably do stuff in Miami. We had about 10 TVs. We had a little bit of an open bar. It was a fun time. Thank you guys for coming. You guys made a great time for me.
What you thinking? Florida State, the next tailgate? Florida State for sure. 10 TVs. We're going to round it back.
Yeah. Well, Florida State's going to be at home. This venue's in Tampa. So I know what we're probably going to try to do is we have this giant this giant college hauling junk bus. It's actually part owned by Ahmad Richards. So Ahmad Richards owns college hunks down there in South Florida.
Okay.
So I know we'll do some stuff there, and we'd love you guys to come out because I know we're gonna have a great time for sure.
Okay, for sure. The Crib 305, loudest game in Hard Rock history when Malik at quarterback versus Notre Dame.
Yeah, that game was crazy.
I could
That game
definitely
was crazy, man.
Rick,
Yeah, man, you guys show out. It's different, man. It was hard to hear.
I get your ass out there in them seats.
Yeah, I mean, y'all out there.
I get your ass out there in them seats.
Half of y'all be drunk like me off tequila, be yelling your heads off.
The Crib 305 got a chance to meet Malik and Bubba Bolden in Tampa. Awesome night. Yep.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming. Glad you got to come out with this. Bubba's always a great time too. Venues off Del Mabry. If you type in Kingmakers, you got to go to Safari. You'll be able to see it's a company that actually started by De'Aaron King. That's why the first name is King in the company. And it's basically like a business networking / entrepreneur hub that they want to do sports venues and different things out of. So I know we're going to do, I don't know how old you are, but I know we're going to do like some speed dating and things like that. Speed dating / like business network. We have guys and girls both looking for relations, but also looking for potential business partners. So we'll do a lot of stuff out of it. So definitely follow me.
Blocker, I missed the cost of the suite tickets. Can I get a repeat?
Yeah, if you want to message me, I'll message you directly.
BR, I'm in St. Pete. I need to pull up. You damn sure do, man. Definitely pull up and show love.
Yeah, man, come through. I know we're gonna do some Sunday football stuff. I'm there some Sundays, but I'll definitely post more about events that we're doing, which events I'm going to. We'd love you guys to come through.
For sure. Make sure y'all show love. Blocker, giving you the thumbs up. For sure. Definitely appreciate you for coming, man. And okay, let me ask you this question. You get to the playoffs, then what?
So, two things. One, if you make in the top 4, you take that week and you rest your guys. So, one thing that is really hard to do, definitely between like the season and kind of like the bowl / playoffs, is guys maintaining their strength, right? Again, I don't want, I think that's a good time for after you win the ACC, get a lot of reps for your young guys, right? Like Ray, JoJo, especially in practice, and let your older guys kind of sit. I remember when I was in college, like the first week or even like the first day or two of bowl practice, we would have all the young guys in, right? So all the seniors would sit out because they're leaving. And then a lot of the starters, right, Brad would sit out and allow the young guys to get reps. Because then what happens is, right, young guys that are especially competing maybe for spot 3 now are basically receiver number 1 because Xavier, Jacoby, and Isaiah Horton are out. Now you get to see what they do. And again, I think some of these guys, especially when you talk about making it into the playoffs, making long stretches, I think there's going to be guys like Ray, like Joseph that have to make plays for us. Even if it's 1 or 2 plays a game, I think they have a unique skill set that they should be impactful.
How you think they get Chris Johnson more involved?
Yeah, honestly, I think that's Chris Johnson. I think that he has his own unique skill set, and I think that Miami has definitely flashed his ability. I haven't watched a ton of him. And I think we kind of talked about like one of the hardest part for especially a young running back is pass pro. I remember watching Jordan Lyle versus Florida, and Jordan Lyle is stuffing a linebacker in the hole. You know what I mean? Again, at the end of the day, like, the team is never going to compromise the quarterback for a running back. That's why a lot of rookies don't start because they can't pass pro. They got to learn pass protection and calls and things like that. So to me, I think he's a unique skill set, but I think for him, he needs to show him, hey, I can pass pro, I can run, and obviously we know that he can catch and run after catch. So to me, I would just say keep your head down, keep working. And again, I think every opportunity that you get, you got to take advantage of it. Because again, you see what AJ Allen's doing, you see what Lyle's doing, right? Lyle popping a 92-yard touchdown at the end of the game. And so again, every opportunity you get, you got to take advantage of it. And I think he has. And so again, that's what I would just encourage him, man. Take advantage of it every time.
The Crib 305, that's a good question. Malik, in your opinion, who is the best safety tandem? Jaquan and Redwine, Cam and James Williams, or Meesh and Harris?
Oh.
Because Meesh and Harris, they out there looking like something right now.
Meesh and Harris look really good. I just, for me, I got to go. And again, I know Cam was All-American. I think Cam, if you're talking about individuals, Cam definitely had the best. But tag team, to me, Jaquan and Redwine, they were super smart. They did a great job of confusing people. To me, both of them was obviously the ultimate leaders. Again, I've been around Cam, I've been around Meesh or Harris, but to me, I think those two on the field and off the field, how they carried themselves and how they led people, I think that they were the best tandem.
Okay. Well, this is another question. Who you think had the better linebackers, 2017 or this year?
I don't know. I would say 2017 had better traditional linebackers. I think our linebackers now are more built the way the game's supposed to be played. Like, I think Shaq is like a true, like, I formation downhill thumper. You know what I mean? That was Shaq. Like, Shaq wanted to just smack everybody. Kiko can more play out of the grass. Like, Shaq kind of struggled when backs ran routes, so he was covering a tight end. Kiko can kind of run with those guys. So I would give this age of our linebackers a little more of an edge. I think that they play better in space, even though I would say I don't think any of them played better in space than Mike Pink. Mike Pink was probably the ultimate linebacker playing in space. He was really instinctual, had some really good picks. Think about the Duke pick hurdling, the screen plays. Pink was really good at least recognizing stuff in space, which is really hard for linebackers.
Okay, I can agree with that. Well, we know who got the better running backs. I ain't gonna ask that question.
They do. They got a better back. They do. And what's crazy is Lyle might be the best back out of all of them. No,
you think so?
I'm not saying right now.
Hold on. No.
Like,
listen to me. It's funny. It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because somebody told me from St. Thomas, he say by the end of the season, Jordan Love will be starting or at least RB2. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, man.
I think it'll be hard. I think it's hard. Two reasons why it's hard. One, I think that, yes, Lyle gives you something different, but like Mark Fletcher is a different human being. So I don't think that he can. And again, there'll be times where maybe Jordan Lyle starts a game because they're in some package, but I don't think that he'll pass Mark Fletcher. Then again, I think with Martinez, right? I think with the amount of money that he got paid, and again, he hasn't done anything necessarily going to lose his job. I think it's going to be very hard for Lyle to kind of jump. And again, it won't be like, oh, you're not good enough. It's just like these guys are Elite 2, and they're really not doing anything wrong to lose their job. And so again, I think on that level, that'll be the only reason why he won't jump. Now again, you have guys that has fumbles, miss pass pro. That's where I can see a guy like Lyle jumping. But unless that happens, I don't see that.
It really don't even matter if he third string because if you look at the Florida game and these rest of these games,
That's what I'm saying.
It don't even matter.
Yeah, so I think he'll be fine. And again, I think his biggest thing is just taking advantage of it, and I think it helps.
Callie Kane, 818. Lyles is like Kamara. Okay.
Interesting. I would say that I think he has vision. I really want to see his hands. I think the one thing that Alvin Kamara really gives you is he can catch out the backfield. He can catch in the slide. He can catch it out wide. Like he's like, and again, like Duke Johnson was like that, but Kamara's like the same way, right? Like they do everything. Like really like that Swiss Army knife. And he can play as a single back and beat you just from the backfield. He ain't got to go split out wide. That's like a whole nother tool set that he got.
The Crib 305. Lyles is like EJ, not
I would give him more of an EJ type runner. I would give him
those names high praise. Giving the kid a lot of praise.
I give him more of an EJ. Yeah. And again, I think we can get better, but to me, Kamara really hurts you as a back, but also when he splits out wide. And I just haven't seen Lyle really do that yet. Again, we've been kind of using Chris, right, as our scat back or back we've been throwing a lot of stuff at. Again, I think week 1 versus 4, maybe it was one of the weeks, but, they threw a go to him. He wound up overthrowing it, but they're throwing, go routes to Chris Johnson. So to me, if Lyle was doing stuff like that, then I would kind of compare him more, to Alvin Kamara.
Hey, man, Malik, man, I appreciate you for being here. But the time has come, man. Had a great time with you. I appreciate you. Hope I see you at plenty games this season. Definitely at Florida State, 'cause I know you bringing them 10 TV.
I'll be at all the home games. Now
Definitely
we in ACC, but the only one I missed was Ball State because I didn't want to do FAM and ball back to back. But I'll be at all the rest of the home games now.
Okay, bet. Well, I'm gonna probably see you Friday then. With that being said, we got 277 people in here. If you're on YouTube, LSS, like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on X, make sure you repost and like it. With that being said, Storm Chasers, until the next time, bow your head.
What was it like when Miami was on top? Nico, it was an entirely different world. When Miami ruled college football, I'm telling you right now, it was a different vibe than when any other program has dominated college football. When Miami dominated,